us. They're real incentive. What's going on?
We are.
Watch tomorrow, we got like 2 hours of this.
Yes.
Tomorrow, we're
No,
talking.
that's
Next
every
round is July.
third, second. Big good time. Take turns throwing the ball. No, we're not. I'm trying to raise money. This is right.
Okay, it is 10 o'clock and we will call to order the June 24th, 2021 meeting of the administrative meeting of the Houston County Commission. Glad all of you could attend today as we slowly but surely relax our restrictions on meeting access. I think this is easily the most lax meeting that we have had to this point since we put all of our regulations in place. And we're going to discuss that in just a moment where we go from here. But I want to thank all of you for being here and taking the opportunity to attend our meeting. Announcements, well, before I get started, as we were preparing, I heard all kind of electronic gizmos and noises and whatnot going off. I would ask all of you to be sure your phones are in some form or fashion of non-power or quiet so that we won't be interrupting the meeting. If you'll all check that, please, to be sure that your phones don't go off. I want to remind everyone that we'll do this again Monday to remind you, but July 5th, which is, I guess, Monday week, is that right? Something like that. Is a holiday and we will not be open. We encourage all of you to get out on the 4th of July weekend. There's lots of activities out there. A lot of communities are having 4th of July fireworks. Peanut Festival, as always, is having their 4th of July celebration on the 3rd of July. I think many are having the fireworks and celebrations on the 3rd of July, which is a Saturday. But whatever you do, whether it be here at home, up at the lake, down at the beach, encourage you to spend time with your family and friends, and most importantly, commemorate the birth of our wonderful nation that we live in, and take time to do that. So that'll be coming up in a couple of weeks, and just remind everyone that on the 5th, which is a Monday, we'll be celebrating or recognizing the 4th of July holiday. So the county, state, federal offices will be closed on that Monday. Any other announcements from the commission? I couldn't think of anything that you all in your communities may have something or anything.
Yeah, I know the town of Wells having food trucks and fireworks that Saturday too, that afternoon, starting about 4.
And I know Taylor usually, I hate to start naming them all because there's lots of them that have them, but yeah, just monitor your community, and Fort Rucker always has a tremendous event. I know it's probably going to be a nice event in the lagoon down in Panama City. So some of us may watch. But there'll be plenty of places for activities. So just choose your way, but choose a way to celebrate our nation's birth. All right. We don't have any presentations or awards, so we'll get right into the regular agenda. The first item is not so much an agenda item as it is a discussion for the commission and any others. We would like to propose or actually plan, there's nothing for the commission to vote on. We are going to plan to go back to pretty much normal operation in this building as of July 6th, the day after the holiday I just mentioned. I want to kind of run through some of the things that will be changing. We've all gotten so used to the norm of some of the changes that were put in place by the COVID restrictions. But as of July 6th, it doesn't go unnoticed that we're celebrating Independence Day. So we're going to celebrate our independence on July 6th and go back to norm. I'm just going to kind of run through some of these, and if anyone, Sherry, if you, personnel director, if you have any additions that need to be, some things that are being changed, for our employees, we will relay to them. But from a public perspective, the hours will remain the same. Building opens at 7, and most of the offices close at 5:30. The building closes at 6, Monday through Thursday. Now, all the other buildings, some have different hours, but we want all buildings to that we say grace over to go back to operation. Let me say this caveat: what the state court offices and courthouse do is their business. We control the building, but we don't control the offices. And as far as court, that is entirely up to them. We don't have any say so on how they handle that. So what we're discussing here doesn't have anything to do with them. We continue to ask citizens that can to transact their business over the internet, by mail, Dropbox out front, any way you can, without actually coming into the building if possible. We have found that helps by keeping people out of the building. It helps keep traffic out and down, and allows those that actually need face-to-face services to get those services quicker. So we encourage you to continue to do that. The internet is an amazing thing if you figure out how to use it, and some of us are trying to do that. So we encourage everyone to try to do that and use that for renewals and whatnot. While you're not required to wear a mask, we continue to advise that is certainly an option, and we will encourage face coverings downstairs if that makes you comfortable. We still have people getting sick from COVID, so if you are comfortable wearing a face mask, we encourage you to do that. We will have at that time no more restrictions on people coming in with you. If you need to bring a child with you or something, we're going to waive that restriction. We will continue to not allow bags or backpacks or those kind of things, but we were doing that before COVID. That's not anything new, and they will be, anything you do bring for your work will be subject to inspection. However, we will not be taking your temperature. That's not a word. We will not be taking your temperature as of July 6th, so that will be coming down. You'll be able just to come into the building. The work area, the little dots on the floor will come up. Certainly we encourage you to maintain some space, but we won't have the mandated social distancing in the various departments. We ask that our citizens use their own discretion and good sense and not get all up on each other, but we won't have the mandatory thing. We will continue to use the plexiglass shields. We also will continue to ask our employees to sanitize their areas and ask our employees and our customers to sanitize, wash your hands and whatnot. So we will still be using common sense, even though we are basically opening the building. Personal hygiene, that's the things we need to try to use. Let's see, what else? I think that's pretty much all from a public perspective. We will remove all these yellow tapes in here. you know, we're all sitting on top of each other again anyway, so all the yellow tape will be gone, and we'll be pretty much back to normal, other than those few little things I mentioned. So that's the information. Any comments from the commission regarding any of that, or Sherry? Sir?
So we're still be at the front.
Yes, we'll still have, yeah, the security was, as you know, was implemented before COVID because of the judgeship and the court here. So, yeah, that will continue unless you're telling me you're pulling out.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
You addressed this, but I don't remember hearing it. Not gonna be any restrictions on the number of people that can come in with you, like, you know, a woman that has
Right.
children.
I did mention that. Yeah, no, you can bring, I mean, you know, we don't want a basketball team coming in, but yeah, you can bring your child or whatever. And when you come, yeah. Yes, sir. Other questions? Or comments? All right, well, that will be effective as of Tuesday, July 6th. That is the day the last governor's order runs out, I believe. So that's when we will implement that. It'd be good to be back to mostly normal. All right. Item number 2, which will actually be item number 1 when we do the agenda. Request to approve resolution to transfer Lot 2 of Porter's Market subdivision to the Dothan Downtown Redevelopment Authority. Jamie will be here Monday. If y'all have questions for her, as will press. I don't really know too many questions. As you all know, we have been working on this project. I don't even know how long, a long time. We purchased the property, divided it up. We have completed the transaction with 5 Star, and those things are moving forward. The farmers market on the east side of what currently is North Foster, north of Powell, is going great guns on Saturdays. I don't know how many of you have attended, but it's a much better location, and it's serving the public and serving our farming community very well. The intent has always been for the DDRA to end up with this piece. If you have your chart, it's the piece that says off on top of it. Part of the word official, but it's that piece that runs down North Foster behind the Ovo Pantry. And they have been working on some things in conjunction with the property across the street that are now completed. And we will be preparing the deed, and at the appropriate time, if you all approve this on Monday, transferring that piece of property to the DDRA, and we will have, at least in this phase, we will have all of our property transfers complete on this transaction. Any questions regarding this? And like I said, Amy will be here Monday if you need her to be, if we need her to be. Questions? All right, any objections to adding that to the agenda? All right, item number 3 is a request to approve cost of living adjustment effective with payroll beginning July 5th, 2021. If you would raise that up, I want to make some comments and a request and try to answer commission questions and see if we can address an issue. Need to put a bigger gear.
Lights off.
That TV works pretty well, I think. I'll be able to see it, but I can barely see it on the sheet of paper. We have, for the last, and Sherry's will clear up all my dates and times and whatnot, but for the last several months at minimum, if not longer, we have been having a significantly difficult time filling positions. We've had vacancies at Road and Bridge we haven't been able to fill. We've had vacancies in the jail. We've had vacancies all over the county. And there have been various reasons. Good bit of it has been pay, good bit of it has been the conditions out there in the market. You see some of the reasons in the middle of this screen. You know, when people are making more money to sit at home than they are to come to work, it makes it really hard to hire people. Our last pay study was 2 years ago, which in a normal situation works fine, but we're not living in normal times. That pay study was done shortly thereafter. Some of our largest competitors adjusted their pay pretty significantly. And then over the last 18 months or so, we've had the things happen to the market that have impacted the job market, that have really caused us issues in trying to hire employees. Significant consumer price index increase over the last 12 months. If you look on that chart, and I know y'all can't see it, the one, not the thicker lines, but the one that says COLA comparison. The blue line is the actual cost of living for the southern states over the last 12 months each year. You see that last one, the number we just got for May is 5.6%. Cost of living, the southern states is 5.6%. The red lines are the COLAs we have given over the years. And if you look at the thicker lines, the cumulative COLA data, you'll see that for several years, we were able to pretty much, and it was our policy almost, to give a COLA based on what the cost of living in the southern states was until 2007 and 8, when we were hit so hard like everybody else. And we honestly just were not able to fund those type of things. And when we did, you can see from those lines that we honestly fell behind in what we were paying, to the point that if you look at it from a cumulative basis, we are over 10% behind at this point. And you know, if we don't make a choice in budget typically to do a 5.6 COLA, then we're going to be further behind. During that same time, private business now, who is having the same issue we are, they can't hire people, but they're able to now pay people bonuses for just staying at work. You know, y'all have heard all those stories about, if you just come to work, we'll pay you $50 a week just to show up on time. Counties, cities can't do that. Our pay scale that we've approved 2 years ago is what we have. It's what we have to work with. It's what we have to recruit with. And frankly, it is not working. We cannot hire people. When we can't hire people, we can't provide the services to our citizens that we are mandated to provide. When we start doing our budget every year, usually we'll meet like we are pretty quick, and we'll hear from department heads about, well, we need all this equipment, and we need all these projects, and we need all these people. Well, if you can't hire people that you already have slots for, you can't run any equipment, so you don't need any new equipment. You can't fill the slots you got, so you don't need any new employees. And we have got to address that issue. We've got to, as commissioners, as custodians of the budget, as responsible for 400 and some odd employees who are trying to have a competitive job, I feel very strongly it is our duty to take care of the people we have before we start looking at bringing new people on. If you look at that statement right there, it's printed, it says the all items CPI-U for the South advanced 5.6% for the 12 months ending in May, after increasing 4.4% over the 12-month period ending in April. The index for all items less food and energy increased 4.3% over the past year. Normally, we would address some kind of COLA at budget year. I think we are in an extreme time. I don't think we can wait till budget year. I also don't think we can afford a 5.6% COLA. So I am asking the commission, in order to address our current employees who have sweated blood and guts for the last year and a half, and so that we can hire people to work for this county and provide services, that we implement a 4.3% COLA effective with the July 5th payroll, July 5th of this year, like in 2 weeks. That it be a COLA that impacts everyone, that we not select, what's the word? What's the word that the feds are using? Essential employees. They're all essential. All of our employees are essential. We need every one of them. So I'm asking the commission to put on the agenda for Monday to approve a 4.3% COLA effective July 5th. And it impacts all employees like all COLAs do. I want to ask Peter and Sherry and Barkley to make comments. You can put that down if you want. And then I'll ask the commission if there are any questions. And then we'll go from there. And I appreciate you listening to my comments and attempt to address what I feel like is one of the more serious situations we faced in a while. We've got to have people in order to provide the services, fix the road, to sell tags, to provide law enforcement, to make sure those folks stay in the jail, clean these buildings. And we're not able to get them. Are we, Sherry? Sherry, you want to come first, and then Peter, and then Barkley, and then we'll talk. Listen.
Yeah, just tagging on to your comments. First of all, I want to thank you all for considering this. It is something that truly needs to be done. Mark has heard me talking about it for months now. He's probably tired of it, but we are continuing to have a problem in recruitment, especially, and retention. Looking over the previous 12 months, for this time last year, there's only 2 months that we had less than 20 vacancies at the time, at any given time. 4 of those months, we had over 30 vacancies. The average is about 26 a month. And today, before lunch, we have 23. We'll have some more this afternoon, probably. We have really, Kristen has done a fabulous job with what I call creative recruiting. We've done all kinds of flyers. We've increased our advertising, mostly the free advertising we can get, Facebook, Instagram, other social media. We're trying to be as cost effective as possible in our advertising costs, but we have had to increase advertising. We've got job fairs. We've got one coming up in July. She's forming partnerships with the workforce development group to try to address some needs, particularly with equipment operators. They're a dying breed. You just can't find people anymore that can operate the equipment that Road and Bridge needs to fix roads and bridges. So she's working with them. We're working with the chamber and the career center. Southeast Alabama Works, and we're trying to partner with Enterprise Community College to get some of those people that are graduating from CDL school. The problem with that is 98% of those that graduate CDL school will go on to work for a big transportation company that we can't even begin to compete with. The only ones that we will get are the people that want to be home with their family that don't want to be on the road. And that's a small percentage. Again, we're competing with all those entities. We put some things in place, some programs in place. Barkley and I have partnered to try to hire young people in that don't have a CDL, provide them time training, give them on-the-job training to learn how to operate this equipment, help them get their license. We've done things like that. We just had to get real creative with that. When you look at, I did a mini wage study, even though it's not time for a big wage study, I put random positions, maintenance workers, probate and revenue clerks, appraisers, accounting clerks, corrections officers, animal control, laborers, equipment operators, sheriff's deputies, and compare them with counties of like demographics and other municipalities. And in every category, you'll see red arrows. We are low, we're under the bar. The next wage study, like Mark said, would be 2022. If we don't do something now, we will never be able to bridge the gap. We will never be able to catch up. Again, he was talking about competing with, I know that you see in the drive-throughs, interviews every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, open interviews, or a job fair at the Civic Center that Southeast helps do, and be prepared to get an offer on the spot. So we're all out there scrambling to find people that can do the job. Also, just food for thought, we've got 46 employees that are eligible to retire right now or in the next 12 months, which is 11% of your staff. So even with this increase, you're still going to have vacancies to fill. We're still going to be competing for employees for an applicant pool. I don't know if you have thought about it or realize how expensive recruitment and retention are. You've got advertising costs associated with that. You've got people screening applications, department heads interviewing people. You've got training costs. You've got background screening costs. There's a lot of onboarding costs that are associated with that. Turnover is expensive. So if we don't pay the ones that we have what they need, then we will lose them, and it's going to affect the bottom line anyway. It's already impacting it. So that's basically all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, let's hold questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Sherry, and she's right. She has been talking about this, mostly deaf ears, including mine, for a while, and I think sometimes things have to just hit you across the face with a bat before you realize it, and that's the point we are. So, thank you. Peter's going to talk a little bit about numbers. First, I want to say, and you mentioned it, we will be doing, or somebody will be doing a pay study in a couple of years. You saw on that chart that we're roughly 10, 11, 12% behind. Even if we do this, we're still going behind. If we do nothing, that pay study is probably going to carry a $4 or $5 million price tag. You don't need to do. We do a pay study about every 4 years, and the reason we're doing a pay study is to make sure that your jobs are competitive with the marketplace, not just the city of Dothan, which we always talk about, but the marketplace and other counties. When you do a peak pay study, you have to implement. You can't do a pay study and just say your jobs are out of line and then sit on it. You've got to implement. If we don't address the situation, market is moving on without us, it's gonna cost this commission $4 or $5 million to implement. So we've got to, from a preservation perspective, if nothing else, do something, I believe. Secondly, as we begin to talk about the numbers, I would like, if we make a motion on Monday, to tie this increase and future increases to our SSUT money and increases in that. Y'all know that's our streamlined sales tax, and it is continuing to grow. And you can make a direct correlation between inflation and the cost of goods and the SSUT, which is the, like I said, the online sales tax. As cost of goods go up, then obviously the percentage that people pay may not buy as much, but the percentage they pay will go up. So I'd like on the record in the motion, these increases and future increases tied to our SSUT so that we, the commissions and other entities know that that's what we're using that money for our employees. And then lastly, I think it's important that we do this now so that as we begin this budget process imminently, we know this is there. As I said before, a lot of times we do the equipment, other new employees and all that. I just feel, and then the last thing every year we say, well, can we do a couple? I just think it's extremely important this particular year, with all we've been through and where the economy is, that we address this on the front end and then see if we can afford the other things later. With that financial background, I will turn it over to our Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the chairman mentioned, every year when we start our budget process, we evaluate what the cost of living is in the Consumer Price Index for urban CPIU in southern states.
Excuse me, sir, does the mic work? I'm not here. I know these people in the back here.
Y'all hear about
I'm
this?
hard to hear, but I don't think y'all can know. I can hear you can hear if you can't.
They said they can hear.
I'll try to speak up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
And in doing that this year, and you all probably experienced it in your own lives, the cost of goods are going up rapidly. And so when we looked at this, we looked at what we should do or what we could do and what we could afford. When Mark first mentioned to me that he felt that we needed to consider a significant COLA for our budget year, I asked him, what's the magic of October 1st? I said, this is a problem now. This is not a problem that's going to start October 1st. What's the magic of October 1st? Why don't I take a look at what the impact would be for the balance of this year and what the impact would be next year? And that's the information I think you provided. My initial estimate is for the last quarter of this fiscal year, it'll be about $210,000. And on an annualized basis, that's about $870,000. That's including the FICA component as well as the retirement component, which, as you may recall, is a calculation off of the pay.
Sorry, what was that second?
About $880,000.
You said 870.
No,
In that range.
it's in that range, because one thing, and I do want to caution you about that second number, is that I wasn't able to calculate the step increases that occur on normal anniversary date, because that occurs all throughout the year, depending on when that individual is hired. I mean, it will be done for the budget. We will have that work done, but that's an onerous task, and it takes many man hours to do that. But as I mentioned, this is a problem now. This is an issue that I'd like the commission to consider, implementing earlier. And I don't think we can afford not to do it. That's just my opinion.
All right. issue and the cost on the ground. Y'all all know where we are on work and whatnot, and it'd be great to have 100 more men, but it'd also be great to have all the men we have slotted. Martha, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, Sherry mentioned equipment operators. I think in the last year, we've got 2 that interviewed true blue equipment operators. One of them already quit, and one of them we just hired 2 weeks ago. Who, the older guy would stay home, you know. We keep a dozen openings year round. I mean, you know, you're gonna see I'm asking for people, but it would be nice to at least fill these dozen to start with. You know, before we add people, I agree 100%. It's a revolving door out there. We get people in, they quit. We get people in, they quit. We get people in, we train them, they go somewhere and make more money. I mean, it's just a revolving door out there. And we're backing up, y'all know that, you're getting the calls. You call me. We go back and forth on it. And it's just, we're just losing. I mean, we're going backwards. We're not even staying even keel now. We're going backwards. And this will help. This should take me and Sherry's looking at maybe changing some position numbers to about $15 an hour, which is, you know, what most people are paying laborers to come through, but you know, I have to see the other kind of work with us, but it's better than $14.40. You know, she mentioned hidden costs and trying to put some bodies out there, which is what we've done. We had 2 people. One of them worked 4 hours and got hurt and cost the county about $120,000 in workers' comp. And another one worked about 20 weeks and cost about $125,000 in workers' comp. So not only are we not getting qualified people, we're getting problems. For lack of a better word. So, and it's nobody's fault. I mean, you know, you gotta hire and pick from what you hire. So, I mean, once you have to hire someone, so.
If you want a quality workforce, you have to pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not naive enough to think this is gonna all of a sudden create a rainbow on July 6th and it's all gonna be fixed, but I know if we don't do anything, it's gonna continue to sink into that hole. So I just believe between the need for that and the need to take care of the employees that we've got, based on all the programs that are out there.
Just tagging on to some of Barclay's comments too. You know, we were resorting to day laborers through temp agencies, you know, just to find some laborers, and they might order 8 and they get 3 that show up that day. So you can't even go out there and hire day labor in the mornings like you used to. And also, like he said, we're so excited. We've got a young rising star. We bring him in. We help him study for the CDL. They help him learn how to drive. We get him trained, give him a little promotion because he's certified now, and he leaves us for 25 cents more across the street. It's very disheartening.
we pretty much come to realize that we're gonna have to hire people in and train them. But we can't keep them. And right now, we're not even getting them to come through the door to hire. So this will help, you know, as far as getting them in, and maybe, you know, like she said, they get a little promotion and move up, you know, maybe it'll help. Retain them more.
I really wish we could do 5.6.
I don't get the vote. I'll have to do the resolution.
Just throwing it in there.
All right, any questions or comments from the commission for any of these 3 experts? Yes, sir, Commissioner Harvey.
I guess Sherry Boyd, I guess so, Peter, what I'm hearing is that, first of all, we're not getting quality workers. And the quality workers that we are getting, we don't have a competitive pay scale versus other counties or a city. I kind of get it. I think Parker, talked about a year ago, you talked about that. I guess my thing is, what do we really do? I know that we're proposing a Band-Aid on it for 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, well, what does that do? Long term,
Well,
because you said we're gonna come on another pay scale next year.
Now, what we'll, okay, so if we approve this, this would be for the last quarter and next fiscal year. We wouldn't do anything additional next fiscal year. The next pay study
And
would
this
be
one?
done in 2023, 2022, implemented in 2023, is that right?
22-23.
It would be done during the calendar year 2022, and implemented in
I
the,
would put it in the 21-22 budget.
so it's in your budget request that's coming?
No,
it's
we
for
talked
next
about
year.
that, next year's
It's for next
budget.
year.
And in October of that year, we would
So
start
it'll be 2
working on
years.
it
Be 2 years.
to implement it the following year.
It'll be implemented in
You think we can sustain and maintain until the end with everything that's going on now?
No, we will need to do a color next year too. Because,
I'll be coming to you.
I mean, this, I don't see this, I'm not a grand economist, that's why we have the gentleman in the shirt over there. But I don't know, I'm just gonna take this inflationism to slow down. And we've got to stay competitive. I just feel like we need to do something right now because we are so far behind. And we are, her job and our department head's job and hiring is so difficult. They've got to have some assistance. And frankly, our employees,
Deserve it.
deserve it and need to be on a fair basis with others.
Don't do the study and pay the employees $4 million.
I didn't hear what he said.
He said, don't do the study.
You said
That'll be in a few years, so.
Yeah, don't spend $5 million on a study, pay it in
No, the
payroll.
study's not, well, first of all, you don't need to be talking back there. If you want to talk, come to the podium, but the study's not $5 million. Study only costs, the study costs that much to implement. The study only costs $20,000.
Less than that.
All right, so any other questions?
Just do a couple of comments. First of all, I appreciate you taking the initiative to bring this forward for consideration. Like Barton said, we get called, we call Barton. So we've had this conversation. And I know when I come on commission in 2014, I could call and something would get done almost within a couple of days typically. That is absolutely not the case today. So yeah, we definitely, I mean, I see it showing up in the number of calls and complaints that I get. I see it in the time that it takes to get things. I agree, and I think that what we're proposing is certainly going to help. I do feel probably like my fellow commissioner from District 1 believes that probably going to do more at some point, and probably in the near future. So I would a couple of things. If y'all could keep us in the loop in terms of the number of vacancies that we have, and I know this is partially my fault because I don't ask a lot of times, but if you could just, without me having to ask, shoot us an update every week, every couple of weeks, just. so
I
we
do it
can
after
keep
every
our-
payroll, so every 2 or twice a month.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would be great. And that would allow us to see if we're moving the needle in the right direction. The other thing I would ask, and which is not going to help our county engineer, but maybe look at considering non-traditional work roles, like a lot of people like to work from home these days. That's kind of what COVID has taught us. A lot of people work from the house and they don't want to come back to the office. And so there might be, again, that's not going to help Barclays equipment operator. It's not going to help the sheriff's department, but it might help some of our clerical positions. So that was the only time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Any other questions or comments?
Chairman, thanks. Three things I'm looking at here, and appreciate Peter sharing those important issues that we're facing as a county. we're not in the business to train employees, time and money, and then they quit and go to another job. So I'm thinking that possibly if that happens, and that's something that we can implement in a policy some way, that they can reimburse the county for their time, for our time and cost. This 4.3% is certainly not needed. But it doesn't mean that that employee that's here and trained, if he gets another 25% somewhere else, he's gonna steal it. So there got to be something implemented in order to, like I said, to keep that person here. And that might be something that we need to look at, a reimbursement to the county.
We have the CDL reimbursement policy in place.
Right.
But, you know, they can't pay you back, they can pay you back for the cost associated with physically paying for the license, but you can't get reimbursed for the time, because
Well,
that's
we
just
can
an
let them
investment.
know what we're gonna do. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna leave in 6 months, there's gonna be some, things that we're gonna have to look at for you to reimburse us in some way.
It's a prorated structure, so yeah, we
Right.
tell them up front, we expect them to stay for
Yes,
a
ma'am.
length of time.
The other thing is, Chairman got a good idea with the SSUT, utilizing that money for, the increase. And I would like for us to look at that, to see how we can lock that in. We do know that, there's a particular county in the state that's actually had to go to the Supreme Court because, that SSU money was taken away from them and given to some other entity. I won't say who they were. So we know where it started. ACCA began working on the SSUT years ago, and it started with the ACCA. And so that money, the origin of that money began to come into the county when Amazon and others paid that percentage of what they had to pay. So we're seeing a good bit of that money coming in annually. So that's a good, in my opinion, a great idea to kind of fix that. And then, like I said, this is a concern, but certainly, I feel like, the 4.3% is going to show our appreciation to current county employees that are dedicated and long-term, been here a long time and appreciate their job. So let's, award them for something. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Who all gets this going on?
Everybody.
Everybody, it's across the board increase.
Across the board increase? Does that include elected officials also?
Yeah,
The ones that by law get COLAs will, some of them don't.
yeah, it'll be based on each individual law for that elected office.
Okay.
It's based on the law.
That's all that.
I lost it. I think that happens more. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, any objection to adding this to the, any other comment? Any objection to, yes, sir,
May I address the commission?
you may.
Chairman, Commissioners, my name is George Trotter, I reside at 4218 County Road 203, Dothan, Alabama. It's been a while. I didn't come here this morning with intentions of addressing an issue on the agenda today, simply because nobody sees the agenda before today. But I cannot sit here and listen to what I've listened to without addressing you relative to this issue of pay raises for county employees. Every person out here has suffered under this China biological / psychological warfare that we've all been under, COVID-19, okay? But what about the businesses? What about these people that have been laid off because of their business, don't even have jobs? And here we are, asking for a raise that sounds like to me, from a better business standpoint, that we have not done our business in the past years in managing this and getting to a point to where is a crisis. During a crisis when we don't have the money. All the other things that are being neglected, we don't have the money, and we're talking about giving county employees a raise that they're probably due, but it's due to neglect of some management, maybe some department head. Maybe we need to assess what we've been doing to get to this point, and to tell me who interviews and hires these employees that come and they're there for a day or they're for a week or whatever, and they leave, and we all upset about it. Who interviews these people and hires? I think it's a good question to ask. John Doe businesses out here, they don't have anybody to bail them out with a pay raise. If they're not producing, guess what? They don't generate revenues. They don't get a pay raise. It's that simple. And I'm thinking that's what we need to do here today. Now I'm hoping, and when I'm able to address you a little later with what I came here for today, I will ask this question, but I'm hoping we're not relying on the $20 million of COVID-19 revenue that we've recently received to enter into this pay raise for county employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any objection to adding this to the agenda?
No, yeah.
All right, thank you. Item number 4, thank you, Sherry and Peter and Hartley. Item number 4, request to authorize lease agreement for budgeted items of 9 vehicles for the sheriff's department. Mr. Cover.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. We, as we normally do, we poll our banking community seeking a aggressive rate for the financing or through a lease of county equipment. In this particular case, we have received a rate of 1.79% from the name is escaping me. Trustmark, thank you. I think trademark, remember that one, right? From Trustmark, and I would like to ask that the commission approve that awarding of that lease.
Any questions?
Well, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Peter. On the 5-star credit union, they waiving all the fees, origination, application, loan, title, UCC. Their interest rate 1.99, which is what, 0.25% under the trademark. That those fees would be.
When we evaluate, excuse me, we evaluate the offers. The interest rate from Trustmark is 1.74, so it is 25 basis. 5-star is 25 basis points over that. Those fees do not equate to.
Wouldn't come up, deducted, offset, right.
Any other questions or comments from anyone? All right, any objection to adding that to the agenda? All right, item 5 is a request to award bid for Houston County Jail Phone System and authorize chairman to execute the contract. Mr. Cover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have gone through the bid process for the jail phone communication system, and we have identified a winning bidder, if you will. Unlike most bids, this is not going to the lowest bidder meeting specifications, because this service provides revenue to the commission. So this is to the awarding to the entity that has offered to provide the most revenue to the commission based upon the services that have been authorized by the sheriff's department to be implemented into jail.
Okay, everybody understand that? So, yeah, so it needs to read just like it does, request to award bid, not the lowest bidder, but just award bid. Yeah. Okay. Any questions regarding that? Any objection to adding that to the agenda?
Will you explain how much that brings in?
Do we know how much it's gonna bring in, or do we not?
Well, we don't know specifically how much that's going to bring in, but there's a floor, and it's usually was $20,000, and I think this one is 22, but we have to negotiate the contract. We'll award the bid, but then there's the contract negotiation phase to working out all the sort of nits and noise of it. So it should be around $22,000 a month. Yes, sir.
All right. So we'll add that to the agenda. Item number 6, request to approve preliminary plat for the porches at Wicksburg subdivision. Mr. Kirkland. Passing the buck.
Yes, that is a 24 lot subdivision off County Road 9 out towards Bay Springs area. We worked with the engineer and the developer, Chrysler Homes, and have an approved set of plans. They've met all of our requirements and our adopted subdivision regulations. There is one minor change that they're going to address for Monday, but they meet it currently, but it's going to improve it a little bit. I met with one of the adjacent property owners. They had a concern, and so we're trying to help alleviate that concern as much as possible.
Okay, this is a preliminary plat, not the final plat, so this would be pre-construction.
That's correct.
Okay. Anyone want to, I see you jumping at the bit.
Oh, yeah.
State your name and, I'm assuming this is,
That's it.
okay.
I want to thank the commissioners for allowing me the opportunity to speak this morning. My
Getting
name
more of
is,
an education than you really want, right?
oh, yeah.
Sir, you mind speak, walk up to the mic there? I don't
My
even
name is
have it
Harry
on.
Reeves, and my twin brother Larry, my sister, we own Bear Creek Farm, which backs up adjacent to this subdivision. One of our concerns is, and I'll just go and tell you my background as a realtor and a farmer. I understand that developers have a right to develop subdivisions, especially with those that are growing as fast west side as it is. But we had a situation when High Point subdivision was put in where we had an issue. We had some major concerns with water runoff from that development. And we actually met with some of the engineers. We actually met with the developer and voiced our concerns. And basically what we were told by the developer was that the engineering department had approved the subdivision as it was, and they were not willing to do any changes. Well, if you look on the back of those sheets that I gave you, you can see the water damage that we received from runoff from that subdivision during the development stage of it. So we had a lot of damage done to our hayfield and our hay crop. So with that said,
This is from the prior, so
this is from High Point, which is just
Okay,
south of
got
this same area.
Gotcha.
So when we met with Tyler, though, they looked at a preliminary plat for that the engineer had developed. We were looking at the retention basin. We noticed that the way they had the 122-foot linear foot concrete ditch for the stormwater runoff, that it was directly in line with the wear on the northeast corner of the back of the subdivision. So if you deal with hydraulic pressure and hydraulic runoff, you know, if you have a large rain, even though you're gonna have water going in that retention basin, the hydraulic force was directly in line with there. It was just gonna force that water into that one area where that area is for overflow. So what we talked to Tyler about was moving that ditch from the northeast corner of the retention pond down to the southeast corner of it. And that way it would have time water to run off and then kind of settle down before it moved over to that area where it would go over the wear. So that was our major concern. We talked to Tyler, he agreed with what we were saying. He in turn reached out to the engineer and he agreed also that they had just overlooked it. So we're just hoping, you know, before this plat is approved, that one change will be made.
is that one change gonna be made before Monday?
Yes.
It is? Okay, well, good.
Yeah, we just don't want to happen to what happened to us back in 2009.
Well, that's the way this process ought to work.
But
I like that.
It's
I
like
like
Tyler
that.
said, their numbers work. This is just better.
yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you, thank you.
And I will tell you this right here, when the High Point subdivision was put in, and of course, you know, these engineers, they come up with their statistics based on driveways, houses, what the increase is gonna be on the water flow.
You're talking about those hired engineers, not the.
Yeah, well, not these guys, okay? But anyway, when the High Point subdivision was put in, the increase in water flow was off by 40%. We had a 40% increase above what the engineer said was gonna be the runoff. And that came down from a hydraulic engineer that we brought in. He either came in from Montgomery or Birmingham and did a study on the High Point subdivision. So we just want to make sure that our hay fields are not destroyed. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming and letting us know that things work properly. And Martha, thank you to Tyler for working with us. They like it when people come and say things went right. Yes, sir. Mr. Singer.
Thank you. Mr. Reed, thank you. I noticed, the plats, you have got some of these from the USDA, NRCS. Have the NRCS gone out and hit you with this anyway?
Let me address this right here.
Right.
After the High Point subdivision was
Don't walk and talk.
I'm sorry. After the High Point subdivision was put in, because we were having extensive runover, we actually had the NRCS come out there, and we actually, in another one of our patches, because there was such an increase of water flow, we actually had to implement another huge storm dam to be put on our property to help prevent erosion, which cost us a tune of almost $14,000. So we're just trying to be stewards of the land.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. Any objection to adding that item to the agenda? All right, item number 7 is a request to sell the following items on gov bids: metal desks from the accounting department and a generator from the maintenance department. Sean over there?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Does it not work?
This that old generator, Sean?
1962.
Did you say 50 then?
60.
Oh,
Same thing.
It's the sister to the one we had at Road Bridge.
okay. All right, any objection to adding that to the agenda? All right, okay, anything from the commission to be discussed or considered for the agenda? All right, we have 2 privileges of the floor today. Privileges of the floor are made available to our citizens to make comments to the commission regarding issues related to the county. It is not a time for debate, questions, or discussion, but any items presented will be taken under consideration by the commission for future action if necessary. Each speaker will have 5 minutes. Our first speaker is Mr. Timmy King, if you will come forward. Mr. King would like to address the commission regarding an ordinance needed to protect properties from losing value. The property he's referring to is 1237 Bunton Road in Cottonwood, or right outside, I think, of Cottonwood, Alabama. It's trashy and it's so bad it's causing properties to be lost. Mr. King.
Correct.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. My name is Timmy King, 5101 Moose Creek Road. By the way, thank you for getting a road paved. And I have a proposal for the commission to consider for Houston County landowners to protect the property from losing value. We've got this land down there next to that trash you see in the pictures. We can't sell it. It's been 5 years. We can't get rid of it. Something needs to be done.
That's your proposal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, our second privileges of the floor speaker is Mr. George Trotter. He wants to discuss COVID-19 relief funds and general Houston County Commission budget concerns. Mr. Trotter.
Thank you, Commissioners, Chairman. It's been a while since I've been before you. In fact, it's been a little over a year, quite a bit over a year, since I had been censored and denied my First Amendment rights as a citizen, and possibly in violation of the Alabama State
Trotter, I'm
Sunshine
I'm gonna ask you to stick to the item that you requested.
Yes, and I'm getting to that, sir. If you just bear with me, just, if you don't mind me just prefacing a little bit.
No, sir.
Oh,
Stick to your item.
okay, let me just say this. Looking at me from a year and a half ago, you probably see something very evident. I'm hoping one of them is a positive thing, because I've lost a lot of weight. The other is my hair, right? I haven't gone skinhead, guy, just be comfortable, okay? I haven't gone there. I'm not rogue, okay? But I'm back here to address you legitimately with concerns, okay? I'm gonna basically read so I can stay within my time limit of 5 minutes. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for allowing me to address you pursuant the rules of procedure of the Houston County Commission, Article 5 and D, privileges of the floor, which is a vague definition. Webster definition does not fit that at all. We will discuss that later. Though myself and all citizens of Houston County must at this time, under these rules, comply or be denied approval to address the Houston County Commission. This constitutes a very negative attitude of you being transparent. Each of you, numerous times in the past, have stood fast and acknowledged that you're all about transparency and accountability. So as I stated in my request application, topics to be addressed, COVID-19 relief funds, $20 million. Not a whole lot of publicity out there about that. I heard about that on a radio station from a local disc jockey, just happened to bring it in because he thought it was important. You probably didn't see that in our local Dothan Eagle and or our WTVY and WDHN. If you did, it would shock me, because I don't watch it. There's no local news there. $20 million in COVID relief funds and my general Houston County budget concerns. The taxpaying citizens of Houston County would like you to step up and show that you really mean transparency by doing what the city of Enterprise, Alabama and the city of Dothan has been doing. Most recently, they have been doing. And that is place all source documents, money's in, money's out, online with a hyperlink detailing items, line items. We've been requesting it for a number of years now. People have addressed y'all about that, deaf ears. It would be very much appreciated if you would start doing that if you really mean you are serious about transparency and accountability. This action would be truly meaningful and trust by we the people, the citizens of Houston County, that we would cherish immensely. Thank you for your attention. And by the way, transparency and accountability is going to be a key issue in the next election cycle coming up this time next year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. That is all. We stand adjourned. Thank you.
But, I mean, what's it?
Yeah, and then we'll have it, then y'all will. Then we'll leave it there. Yeah, we gotta create a moment.
Yeah.